Hi, everyone. It's Kelly from the Hub. I'm here with Pastor Jim from Bergstrasse. How are you, Pastor Jim?
Doing okay. Now, our folks don't know this, but it's Tuesday morning and it's raining here in Ephrata. So,
Yep. Yep. And you guys will see it on Thursday night, and it's supposed to be nice then. So you're going to be like, what is happening? Yeah. So, sometimes rain brings a little funk. It's, washing away your stuff and all
and
that
it's one
stuff.
of those days you just sort of like dreary and just want to go in and just
Yeah. Like
cuddle and
both of us have coffee that we like brought to our meeting. Yeah. So we were talking about like people and like how you know people are good. And it came to you. I'm just going to start that story. So it
okay.
came to you, like, remember we talked before we do this and
Oh yeah, that's right. That was what? Oh, hour ago,
it's like
literally an
an hour,
hour ago.
yeah. So we were talking about like, how do you know people are good? And you just sort of have that vibe. People just have a vibe, no matter what it is, aura, spirit, whatever it is that you want to call it. We all have it. And I think that those of us who spend our days with people, you know what that vibe is. And no matter how that person presents, you know they have a good core. And you know that you can discover something about them.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm imagining that people are thinking, well, maybe that's Kelly and Jim. I don't know. Because, I think there's a fan club out there for us and we have no idea why, but there's this vibe and yes, and sometimes that you send off that vibe,
Yeah.
but it's just as important also to realize that people recognize that in you.
Yeah.
And it really is in how you present yourself. I mean, it seems so corny and crazy, but it really is, do you really pay attention to the person if someone pays attention to you, that you can trust them.
Right.
And it's the foundation of any kind of relationship.
And it's also one of those things, like, 'cause I know that, like, a lot of people are thinking about, like, I need to get a job and like things are rough. And, everyone says, you're like the first 2 minutes that you meet somebody, that's how they know if you're like a good candidate. And I'm just sort of thinking about that in my head. And yes, some of
that
it is
first, that first good impression.
right. And like, all the magazines and LinkedIn and all that stuff tell you it's about your clothes and it's about the piece of paper that your resume is on, or all that stuff. And we're not discounting that.
That's correct.
But your essence also shines through. And so that essence, and it could be good or bad. I mean, or not good or bad. It could just be not what someone is looking for. That essence is really the most important thing, and that's what connects people. And you're right about like observing people. You and I are really good at that. And like, I noticed the moment you got new glasses, I was like, those are new glasses. Or you got a haircut. Like,
And by the way, I've had them now for 3 weeks and you're only the second person to notice them.
because see, but I think that's because you and I both notice things. And because we notice, maybe it is that we're more in tune. I don't know. But I think that that's a fascinating thing. And it's not that we make better connections because we notice, we just notice.
And I think that's one thing. I think everybody has that, but it's
Yeah.
how it's nurtured in them. And it can begin at a very young age, or sometimes for some people maybe it's later in life. And I mean, like, um, one of my roles previously was as a youth leader in a local congregation, and it was like, I know some people really don't like middle schoolers and high schoolers because of, that age is always the tough age for everybody. I mean, come on. My teens were not the easiest to go through. But I know I've seen, young men and young women in this group who are like trying to figure out how to make a relationship. or how are they trying to be received, and they want to be loved. And it's like, I just wanted to go up to some of those kids and just kind of give them the big old bear hug and just let them know that you're loved, you're cared for. And you know what? And you're going through a bunch of crap right now. It's called teens. It's called being a teenager. And you know what? If you could talk to your parents, they would tell you the same thing or something very similar.
Yeah.
So I've always had a heart. I always have a heart for something like that. And this isn't everybody that I meet. This isn't everybody, but when I know that there's someone who's sort of like down on life and struggling to kind of find an easier path, because we know they're not all going to be the right path, but the
Right.
easier path, and to be able to support them in that, I think it's just one of the things that is important, even in our faith life too, and what we do.
Yeah, I was a teacher, and we've talked about this for a long time, and I was always the tough love teacher, the one that said, we still have expectations. I
Yeah,
know it's hard, but I'm supporting you 1,000,000,000% because I know you can do it.
you
So
do it.
come on.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
will, I will hold your hand along the way. I'm not going to do it for you, but come on. See how, experience the feeling of how great it's going to be when you've accomplished that goal.
yes. And then you find out, days, weeks, months, years later, it's like, you made a difference in my life. And it's like,
But that's not why we do it.
no, we do
Because
it
we
because
don't
we
even
love
think
that.
about, that's just our natural way. Right. And then we're like, I did. No, no. But then they're like, yeah, it was that day that you said
Yep.
whatever it was.
And then it's like, wow, I said that? And they said, yeah, you did. You did. You say some profound things sometimes that when in the moment they're like, well, that's just what I do.
Right.
But the reality is, no, it is what you do because that's who you are.
Yeah.
It's who you are. I mean, even in my short time here in Ephrata, I've been here, what, a year, a little over a year.
Yeah, me too.
And happy anniversary. And it was just like, I have met so many people that I had never met before, but it feels like I've known them all of my life.
Mm-hmm.
When
Mm-hmm.
people make comments to me about, such and such and this and that, and it's like, wow, there's just there's a connection. There's a force field that draws us together.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things that I look at as a true gift for people, because, come on, you want to do stuff with people that you know and you love and you trust. It's easier to engage with something like that than it is to kind of like pull everybody in and try to make them do something. But if there's an aura around all of it that we're in this together,
Yeah.
and we care for one another, it just like explodes.
Yeah. And I've always found that to be such an interesting thing. And I hope that there's somebody out there who's studying brain waves or whatever this essence is, because I think that when you get those kinds of people together and then people allow themselves to sort of feel it, and there needs to be better words for this, that because there's that, we've all run across those people in our lives where you can be as open as you can be or as willing as you can be, and they can't get past their whatever to let it happen.
Oh yeah.
And
You're preaching my story, sister.
and when I've been in that spot, there have been times where I feel like if I push harder, it'll work. And I've never found that to be actually true, even though, you're in that position and we've all been in that cycle a couple of times or several times.
Yeah, it's the building the trust, and the building the respect for one another, and the willingness to become vulnerable, to kind of share what our deepest thoughts are, and where we are. As we've been chatting now, I'm reminded of so in a previous congregation where I served, they had like this, what they called it, a statement of faith, which was sort of like a document that they recited every week in worship, that kind of indicated who they were. And I'm reminded by the very first sentence: we believe that the way we treat one another is the fullest expression of how we live out our faith. We believe that the way we treat one another. And as we treat one another with love and respect and kindness, it allows the other to open up also. It allows the other to become vulnerable. It's not about me, but it's really then about how do we do that. And I think that's part of a deeper thing that we're talking about here today, Kelly, is as anybody that we meet and we want to encourage them to whatever, it's helping them to see that they are loved and they are cared for. It's not it's not what the world teaches us, to get one over on somebody. Right. It is not that at all.
Right.
It's about, I want you to do the best that you can. I want you to be the best person that you can be, because I see a whole lot more in you than you might be experiencing right now.
And you know what? One of the coolest things is to show somebody what you see.
Yeah.
And they don't know it because they don't want to. They like the exterior or whatever. And I love that moment when you're like, no, you're good. Or no, you really are kind. Or no, see how you treat puppies, or whatever the thing is. Or you are really nice to your grandma. Do you know what that says about you? And that moment when you show them who they really are, because they don't know it, and they're like, their whole body changes.
Or, I can't be this for you because I'm fill in the blank. And it's like,
right.
And then you discover this, the person speaks back to you and says, that's why I love you.
Yeah.
That's why I care for you. And it's just like, the reveal has happened. You can no longer be behind the big green curtain.
Right. And then everybody always goes, well, how did you know that? Because I can see it. I see it in that little part of you.
You live it. You live it. You can't hide. Sorry.
I guess so. I guess the question is, what is that? Your soul, your essence, your aura, your biochemical, physical waves? See, this is a dissertation right here.
Those scientists that have been watching us are going to let us know in a few days.
Right. They're going to be like, here it is. They're going to send us a study that they've already done about why this is the thing. And then we're going to be like, there you have it. But you're right.
If you do send that, I will take you out to dinner.
And I will join, and we'll have lovely conversation.
That's exactly we will.
Yeah, because you're right. That's the stuff of life.
It's one of those things that is hard to explain. And that's the other thing too, is we want to have answers for everything.
Right.
We need to have certainty. That's just how we feel that it's better.
Right.
And life is all mystery. Life is all mystery.
And it's cool to sit with that and think about, what is this mysterious thing? And who are you? What is it that makes you you? Yeah. Oh, another Tuesday well spent.
Great start to the day.
We hope you enjoyed this one, pals. We're always workshopping. If you have ideas for us of things that you would like us to chat about too.
Sure.
I mean, I'm not going to be too good at car engines, but whatever.
Me neither. I'm out of that too.
Whatever. Yeah, send some stuff. All right, pals. This was lovely.
Right.
Pastor Jim, thank you so much.
Thank you, Kelly.
See ya.
Bye.